नमस्ते दोस्तों, आपका वैल्यू एडुकेटर चैनल में स्वागत है, जहां आप सीखते हो स्टॉक मार्केट में निवेश करके आप कैसे पैसे बना सकते हो। तो मेरा नाम है शशांक और ये वीडियो हम डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे अबाउट दीपक नाइट्राइट बिजनेस मॉडल। तो दीपक नाइट्राइट का जो केमिकल बिजनेस है वो काफी डाइवर्सिफाइड बिजनेस है। काफी अलग अलग ब्लॉक्स आ जाते हैं उसमें, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम बेसिक केमिकल्स, देन फाइन एंड स्पेशलिटी केमिकल्स, परफॉर्मेंस प्रोडक्ट्स, और रिसेंटली यानी लगभग 2 इयर्स बिफोर उन्होंने फेनोलिक्स, ये एक अलग जो बिजनेस सेगमेंट है उसको शुरू किया था। आगे जाके वो डाउनस्ट्रीम प्रोडक्ट भी बनाने वाला है फेनोलिक्स के। तो कंप्लीट जो उनका बिजनेस है इसके बारे में हम डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे। हाउ मैनेजमेंट एक्चुअली एबल टू स्केल अप दिस बिजनेस एट दिस लेवल, क्योंकि ये जो स्केल अप है इट्स नॉट वेरी इजी, बट उन्होंने काफी अच्छी तरीके से बिजनेस को स्केल किया है। एंड आई पर्सनली थिंक इट विल बी वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट केमिकल कंपनी इन इंडिया। एंड एग्जीक्यूशन जो है मैनेजमेंट का, इट वॉज रियली रियली वेरी गुड इन केस ऑफ फेनॉल या इन केस ऑफ एनी अदर टारगेट्स विच दे हैव गिवन। More or less they have achieved it on time, or in some cases they have achieved before time also. So execution of the management is really really important when we look for any particular investments, and in Deepak Nitrite case that is very very good. Business यदि आप देखोगे तो till now it is more of a commodity business, but management का execution was very good. In future they might be entering into some specialty products, like they are entering into fluorination, या जैसे जैसे company और grow होगा they will keep on entering into some niche areas. But I think for now the company is more or less a commodity company, but it is more of a execution which management able to do successfully over the period of time. तो मैंने वैल्यू एडुकेटर चैनल पे काफी अलग अलग वीडियोस क्रिएट किए हैं, केमिकल सेक्टर के, फार्मास्यूटिकल सेक्टर के, रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर के, बिल्डिंग मटेरियल्स के या ऑटो एंसेसरीज के। तो ये वीडियोस आप जरूर देखिए, काफी डिटेल वीडियो है। और यदि आपने अब तक चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया होगा तो जरूर चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए, और ये जो वीडियो है वो कंप्लीट देखिए, और वीडियो पसंद आएगा तो जरूर इसे लाइक भी कर लीजिए। So let's discuss in depth about Deepak Nitrite business model. Deepak Nitrite is one of the leading chemical intermediates manufacturers of basic as well as specialty chemicals. The company initially started off with small-scale manufacturing of sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate, and gradually widened its product portfolio to offer more than 100 products to more than 1,000 customers across 30 countries. It has its presence in basic chemicals, fine and specialty, performance chemicals, and phenolics. Deepak Nitrite has been front runner in tapping import substitution opportunities in India's chemical space. Deepak Nitrite was started in 1970s by C.K. Mehta. He is well known and trusted name in chemical industry because of his extensive trading operations. It was this very thirst that gave Deepak Nitrite's IPO great success in 1971. Later in 1980s, his son Deepak Mehta entered in the business. DC Mehta's business acumen and leadership skills have enabled Deepak Nitrite to take swift strides forward. He is a science graduate from University of Mumbai. After the 1980s, business has scaled up a lot. Deepak Mehta did 3 acquisitions in history. In 1984, the company acquired Sahyadri Dyestuff and Chemicals Unit from Mahfatlal Industries. In 2003, they acquired management and control of Aryan Pesticide Limited at Roha. In 2007, they acquired Dasda division of Vasant Chemicals at Telangana to get into the intermediate manufacturing of Dasda. The churn is very less among the top management. If we talk about Sanjay Upadhyay, who is CFO of the company, he has been a part of this company since 1994. Also, Mr. Umesh Asaikar, who was the CEO of the company, was also part of the company for 12 years and retired in 2020. After his retirement, Deepak Mehta's son Maulik Mehta has become the CEO of the company. If we discuss the business segment of Deepak Nitrite, on a broad level there are 4 business segments, which are basic intermediates, fine and specialty chemicals, performance products, and phenolics. We will see each and every segment in detail in later part of this video. If we check the revenue mix of Deepak Nitrite, in 2022 financial year, the basic intermediate segment contributed 18%, fine and specialty chemicals contributed 12%, performance products contributed about 8%, whereas Phenolics business segment contributed 62% of overall revenues. As the business have undergone lot of changes over the period of time, thereby interdependence of the processes and products has increased. Hence, due to the increasing number of facilities catering to multiple products, the company's operation will now be reported as the 2 business segments, which are advanced intermediates and phenolics. In Q1 of financial year 2023, Advanced intermediate segment contribute about 35%, whereas Phenolics business segment contribute about 65% of overall revenues. If we check the geographical mix of Deepak Nitrite, in 2022 financial year, the domestic market contributed about 78%, whereas the export market contributed about 22% of the revenues. In the export market, US contributed 18%, Asia contributed 36%, and the contribution from the Europe stood at 44%, whereas rest of the world contributed about 2% of the export revenues. Deepak Nitrite has 6 manufacturing facilities in 3 states of India. The Nandesari facility in Gujarat is first and flagship manufacturing facility which caters to organic and inorganic chemicals of basic intermediate segment. The Roha facility in Maharashtra caters to intermediates for agrochemicals, dyes and specialty chemicals. The Taloja facility in Maharashtra caters to fine and specialty chemical segment and it is strategically connected to Nhava Sheva port. The Dahej facility of Deepak Nitrite in Gujarat caters to the basic intermediate segment as well as performance product segment. The Dahej facility of Deepak Phenolics in Gujarat caters to manufacturing of phenol, acetone and IPA. If we check on the R&D side for Deepak Nitrite, then they have developed centralized research facility at Nandesari, Gujarat, which is recognized by the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research by Government of India. It is equipped with the latest instrument and equipment and it has a strong team of around 70 scientists. Deepak has an expertise in multiple chemical processes such as hydrogenation, nitration, diazotization, alkylation, oxidation, chlorination, etc. The R&D center at Nandesari focuses on innovation and development of value-added products. Deepak Nitrite also deployed automation technologies to drive efficiency and they use artificial intelligence and machine learning to use the data optimally. The company is working on various new technology platform developments. In this regard, they have started work related to fluorination as well as photochlorination chemistry, high pressure oxidation reaction for epidic acid formation and gas solid reaction for salicylic acid formation. The company is using lab scale continuous stirred tank reactor which is CSTR as a setup for converting batch mode reactions into continuous mode to achieve better yield and quality with reduction in the cost of operations. CSTR is basically a vessel in which reagents and reactant flow into a reactor while the reaction product exits the vessel. If we check in Q2 2022 financial year con call, Maulik Mehta, who is current CEO of the company, mentioned that fluorination is one unit process. The company is already into nitration, hydrogenation, etc. And with regards to fluorination, the availability of the raw material, safety and operational excellence are those fronts the company should work on. Fluorination will be one of the steps in total chemistry block which they will be linking with other blocks of chemistry. The company has recently acquired a land of 127 acres at Dahej which is part of Rs 300 crores capex which we will be discussing in later part of this video. So fluorination will be one of the process platforms that which company is investing in new sites at Dahej that will be the part of newly announced subsidiary which is Deepak Cleantech. We will discuss about Deepak Cleantech in later part of this video. Again, if we check Q2 of 2022 con call, we get to know that company is currently targeting agro and pharma products in fluorination space and these plants are fungible so they can make other products as well. Fluorination and photochlorination capabilities are expected to come online by Q3 or Q4 2023. Before going into the business segment, we need to check where does the Deepak Nitrite operate in value chain. If we check the chemical value chain, first there is a feedstock, then there are the bulk chemicals, then there is an intermediate and at the last there are the specialty chemicals. So Deepak Nitrite in this whole value chain operates as intermediate manufacturer. Similarly, if we check the pharma value chain, then it includes key starting material, then chemical intermediates, then there is an active pharmaceutical ingredient which is API and at the last there is a formulation. So here also Deepak Nitrite supplies intermediates for the pharmaceutical segment. If we discuss about the intermediates, then intermediates are basically used to cause a reaction. Intermediate in itself does not have any value. If we do any sort of reaction with intermediates, only then intermediates are useful. So this is why intermediates are important. Some chemical businesses are N8 or N9 reaction backward integrated or there are only those reactions in that product. there can be N7 or N8 reactions. So basically there are many number of steps in reaction. But in intermediate manufacturing, there can be only 1 to 2 reactions, which means it is still N1 or N2. Let's understand this by the example of crocin. It is basically a paracetamol, which is basically para-acetyl aminophenol. Para-acetyl aminophenol is the active name for it. Deepak Nitrite do not manufacture the paracetamol, but they will give N-1 or N-2 of the paracetamol. So they will be basically selling the intermediates which we discuss in the pharma value chain. So the N-1 or N-2 reactions, which means it is a only two-step reaction. But if the reaction is very complex, generally longer or complex reactions also have the higher margins. Basic intermediate segment is basically high volume segment consisting of bulk chemicals and commodities. The products in this division are standard in specification and are not customized as per the client's requirement. Earlier the segment was known as basic chemicals, but later the company renamed it as a basic intermediates. This was done in line with the global shift in supply chain and to align towards model of providing security of supply of high quality intermediates. Basic intermediate segment includes products like sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, nitrotoluenes, fuel additives and nitrosyl sulfuric acid. These products find application in agrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, fuel additives, rubbers, dyes and pigments and industrial explosives. When we will discuss about basic intermediates, Deepak produces organic intermediates, inorganic intermediates and fuel additives. In organic intermediates, there are products such as nitrotoluene, ONT which is orthonitrotoluene, PNT which is paranitrotoluene, etc., which finds the application in colorants, agrochemicals and rubber industry. Nitrotoluene is used for captive consumption in manufacturing of dasda. In inorganic intermediates, there are products such as sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite and nitrosyl sulfuric acid, which finds application in dyes and pigments, pharma intermediates and food colors and colorants. In fuel additives, they have the product named 2-ethyl hexyl nitrate, which is used as cetane booster for diesel. Fuel additives improve the octane and cetane number of the fuel, and it improves the thermal efficiency and therefore reduces the emissions. In diesel it improves the cetane number, whereas in petrol it improves the octane number. Now let's discuss about the market share of the Deepak Nitrite in some of the products in basic intermediate segment in India. In sodium nitrate they have 80% market share, in nitrotoluene they have about 50% market share, whereas in fuel additives they have 75% market share. Fuel additives in 2009 and 2010 was an R&D initiative. At that time there were BS3 and BS4 norms. All the refineries wanted fuel additives and it is used in very less concentration per liter. Most of the refineries in the country like Reliance Industries, Indian Oil, BPCL, HPCL are the customers of the Deepak Nitrite. Other customers in basic intermediate segment are UPL, Clariant, BASF and Heineken. Even in 2010-2011, Deepak Nitrite was exporting bulk chemicals to China. If you are exporting something to China, you need to be very cost efficient. Without being cost efficient and without matching Chinese cost, you cannot export products to China. If we check in Q1 of financial year 2011 con call, we get to know that Deepak Nitrite was one of the very few companies which exported the products to China at that time. But again, since the bulk chemicals, the margins were very less. EBIT margins for the bulk intermediate segment have improved from 10% in 2015 to about 25% in 2022. This is because Deepak has taken lot of cost cutting initiatives and lot of efficiency initiatives to improve efficiency. Along with this, China Plus One is also one of the reasons for the benefit, as there is a disruption of the supply in China. So if we take a look at EBIT margins have expanded, but its revenues has just increased from 750 crores in 2015 to 1261 crores in 2022 financial year, representing a growth of 7.7% CAGR. The reason for the slower revenue growth was that most of the products they have the market leadership. For example, company holds the market share of more than 75% in the products such as sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate. So unless they develop any new products, their revenue growth cannot increase rapidly. When we discuss about the fine and specialty chemicals, these are low volume, high margin products. These products are customized according to clients' needs and it needs the competency in handling complex reactions. These intermediates finds applications in agrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, personal care products, etc. Deepak Nitrite manufactures specialty chemicals such as xylidines, oxymins, and cumidins and is amongst top 3 global producer for the xylidines, cumidins and oxymins and holds number 1 position in terms of customer wallet share for most of these products. If we check the product-wise application, then xylidine is used for dyestuff, antioxidants, agrochemicals and pharmaceuticals. Cumidins finds the application in dyestuff and agrochemicals, whereas oxymins finds the application in agrochemicals and paints. If we look at Deepak Nitrite key clients, then we get to know that Syngenta, L'Oreal, Lanxess, Mitsui, BASF, Beers, etc. are some of the key clients in this division. To understand this business segment more, we will discuss one con call snippet. So in this con call, Umesh Asaikar, who is the CEO, he says that fine and specialty chemical requires outstandingly close intimate relationship with customers. It means that you need to maintain relationship with customers and you need to engage the customers on technology, technical front, and you need to design the products to attain the customer requirements of the intermediate, and you should have the strong chemical processes to able to win the customer's confidence. Since the fine and specialty chemical division of Deepak Nitrite is manufacturing critical application products where the customer is not price sensitive, so their EBIT margins are on higher side in this product segment. Here we can check EBIT margins has risen from 19% in 2015 to 30% in 2022 with peak of 43% in 2021 financial year. Here if we check the revenues, they have been growing from 326 crores in 2015 to 846 crores in 2022, representing a CAGR growth of 14.5%. The reason for this growth is that in last 1 to 2 years, more products were manufactured in pharma and agrochemicals because these industries were in tailwinds. The company has also entered into multi-year agreements with leading customers for existing products in agrochemical space. Let's understand the value chain of the performance products. So in performance products, first block is nitrotoluene, then it is para-nitrotoluene, then DASDA, and then comes the OBA, which is known as optical brightening agent. Till 2006, Deepak was manufacturer of only nitrotoluene and para-nitrotoluene, but in 2007, they acquired Vasant Chemicals, which was manufacturing DASDA. In 2011, Deepak Nitrite announced greenfield capex through which they forward integrated towards optical brightening agent. So in performance product, Deepak Nitrite is leading and fully integrated manufacturer of OBA, which is the backward integration for their basic building block of nitrotoluene and para-nitrotoluene, and further into DASDA and OBA. Nitrotoluene and para-nitrotoluene are manufactured in the Nandesari plant, while DASDA is manufactured in Hyderabad plant, whereas OBA is manufactured in Dahej plant. OBA is a type of performance product which is basically brighter and commonly used in industries like paper, detergents, textiles and photographic paper. So basically the whitening property of the paper is given by the optical brightening agent. This product needs technical expertise or chemical should perform in particular way. This is why it is known as the performance product. And this depends on the customer needs for the OBA active chemical that is blended in formulation either in liquid or solid form. So this is an integration strategy of Deepak Nitrite. DASDA is an intermediate which is used to manufacture OBA. If we look at OBA end uses, we get to know that 65% of the OBA is used in paper industry, 20% is used in textile, whereas 15% is used in detergents. If we check the global market share in DASDA, the world market is controlled by Takesar Chemicals, which is Chinese company which has market share of about 53%. Then 13% is controlled by Lion Chemicals, which again is Chinese company, and close to 12.5% is controlled by Deepak Nitrite and rest 21.5% is controlled by others. If we check in last few years, then we come to know that from 2016 to 2018, the performance products division has been loss making for them. So the EBIT margins were negative during that period. But in 2019 and 2020, EBIT margin boosted to 21% and 54% respectively. This was due to the Chinese disruption. The Lion Chemical facility in 2018 in China was shut down due to pollution issues, due to which DASDA prices has reached from the 300 rupees per kg to 1100 rupees per kg, and due to which performance products EBIT margins increased significantly. So the performance products EBIT margin followed a similar trend as that of DASDA prices, which is clearly visible from the charts. EBIT margins in 2021 financial year collapsed to 7% because of the performance products end users industry like paper and textile have gone through a slowdown due to economic slowdown, COVID-19 lockdown, etc. If we look at the revenues, then in 2016 it was around 274 crores and it was flat from 2016 to 2018. But from 2018 to 2020, revenues grew from 299 crores to 768 crores and currently the revenues are stabilizing. If we look at the customers of Deepak Nitrite, then most of the detergent and paper companies are their customers, such as JK Paper, Nirma, Ghadi, TNPL, Imami, etc. The company appointed BCG as a consultant for operational efficiencies and improvement in performance products. They had come up with the certain strategies. If we read the conference calls of 2018 financial year, we come to know that there are different varieties and grades of OBA. So the company reduced the number of grades and focused only on few grades. So multiple strategies were adopted to make the OBA segment profitable. In 2014, Deepak Nitrite decided to set up a manufacturing capacity for phenol and its co-product acetone through its wholly owned subsidiary Deepak Phenolics Ltd. The capex for the phenol plant was around 1400 crores, for which 60% was funded by the debt and remaining 40% funded by the equity, for which they have raised 3 QIPs, one QIP for Rs 83 crores and 2 QIPs for 150 crores each. This plant had 2 lakh tons of per annum capacity of phenol and 1,20,000 tons per annum capacity of acetone. By further debottlenecking the plant, the company has further increased its phenol capacity to 2,50,000 tons per annum. If we check the phenol consumption in India, it has increased from 258 metric ton per annum in 2014 to 375 metric ton per annum in 2020, representing a CAGR of 6.4%. The demand for the phenol and acetone in India is expected to grow at rate of 8 to 10% per annum. If we check the domestic competitors for phenol, Deepak Nitrite have two competitors. One is Hindustan Organic Chemicals, which is government-owned PSU, which has a capacity of 40,000 tons per annum of phenol and 24,640 tons per annum capacity of acetone. The second is SI Group, which has a capacity of 36,000 tons per annum for phenol and about 20,000 tons per annum capacity for acetones. These capacities are 30 to 35 year old. So today Deepak Nitrite capacity, which was commissioned at end of 2018, is based out of latest technology. Deepak Nitrite entered into agreement with Kellogg Brown and Rout, which is North American EPC company for the technology on which phenol plant is based. This is the most technologically advanced plants of its kind in region and will incorporate process and systems of the highest standards globally. KBR of US have over 50 years of experience in cumene to phenol process design and innovation. The company selected ThyssenKrupp Industrial Solution India Private Limited as an engineering, procurement and construction management contractor for the project. Cumene is a raw material which is required in the manufacturing of the phenol. It is made from the benzene and propylene. For the cumene plant, Deepak Nitrite engaged GOP Honeywell, one of the leading technology providers of the cumene manufacturing process. This plant have a capacity of manufacturing 260,000 tons per annum of cumene. Earlier the project was for manufacturing 50% cumene in-house and 50% to be outsourced. But later on the company decided to manufacture 100% of the cumene in-house depending on the benzene and propylene market and the company's tie-up and the availability, since this was giving the company better economics and better returns. Now let's discuss from where Deepak procures the raw material for cumene, which are benzene and propylene. So if we check, the company procures propylene from IOC, GAIL and BPCL, whereas it procures the benzene from ONGC Petro Additives Limited, popularly known as OPAL. OPAL is at the pipeline distance from Deepak Phenolics factory. So this gives the company a strategic advantage. Also, India is benzene surplus country, so raw material availability is not an issue. If we check the value chain of phenol and acetone, benzene reacts with propylene to give cumene. Cumene is then further used to produce phenol and acetone. Acetone is a co-product of phenol. When we make 1 unit of phenol, Then along with that we get 0.6 units of acetone. If we look at some of the derivatives of phenol, which is bisphenol, which is used in epoxy resins, and it is one of the biggest derivative of phenol. Then polycarbonate, which is used in automobile, construction and electronics. Then there is another derivative which is MIBK, which is used in paints and coatings. Acrylate is another derivative which is used in automobile industry and construction sector. If we look at the phenol imports, then imports of the phenol have increased from 1,564 metric ton in 2010 to 2,84,970 metric ton per annum 2018. Deepak Nitrite started the commercial production of phenol by 2018 end. So if we check the phenol imports from 2018 to 2020, it has decreased from 2,84,970 metric ton to 1,31,962 metric ton per annum. Similarly, if we check the acetone imports, then imports of the acetone increased from 80,000 metric ton per annum in 2010 to 1,46,878 metric ton in 2018. So to reduce the dependency of the imported acetone, Deepak Nitrite have came up with the acetone domestically. Now let's discuss about the applications of phenol and acetone. Phenol is majorly used in plywood and laminates. Then phenol is also used in construction sector. If we check the applications of acetone, then it is used as a hand sanitizer. For example, IPA, which is isopropyl alcohol, which is the downstream derivative of acetone, it is used in hand sanitizers and pharmaceuticals. Acetone is also used in paints. Deepak Phenolics has also introduced eco-friendly wood preservative under the brand called Protecto. Protecto is specifically developed true wood preservative with anti-wood borer, anti-termite and antifungal action. Protecto is based on biodegradable organic chemical and it is substitute for creosoles, and it has been specifically developed and patented through the in-house R&D efforts at Deepak Nitrite Ltd. The company has also established a plant to manufacture 30,000 metric ton of isopropyl alcohol from acetone. IPA is basically a downstream product of the acetone. Later on, it undertook a brownfield expansion of IPA, which was commissioned in 2021 December. This has doubled the capacity of IPA from 30,000 metric ton per annum to 60,000 metric ton per annum. IPA is a solvent primarily used by the pharmaceutical companies and also used for manufacturing sanitizers. The company have the plan to consume about 40 to 45% of the acetone captively. The company is investing about 700 crores for solvents in Phenolics. This 700 crores will comprise the downstream derivatives of acetone such as MIBK, MIBC and other solvents. MIBK stands for methyl isobutyl ketone, whereas MIBC stands for methyl isobutyl carbonol. The company is putting up the capacity of 40,000 tons per annum for MIBK and 8,000 tons per annum for MIBC. The demand for the MIBK and MIBC is significant and it will continue to grow because the world over phenol and acetone are largely consumed as feedstocks in solvents. All of these solvents are currently imported into India, and in this case also Deepak Nitrite wants to substitute the imports. The company has set up 29 megawatt cogeneration power plant for phenol plant, which will help the company to reduce the energy cost. Advantages of the cogeneration power is that this cogeneration plant will provide significant cost savings and as well as reduce the environmental footprint. Traditional power generation system on other hand waste a larger portion of the energy that is released by the combustion of fuel. Energy losses typically occur via exhaust gas combustion through the steam of condensing system and out of various cooling systems. Cogeneration system recover the heat from the energy loss pathways and put that heat to good use. Moreover, cogeneration power plants often operate at 50 to 70% higher efficiency compared to single generation facilities. So the cogeneration plant will allow the company to have fewer unplanned shutdowns and improve the efficiency of production. If we check the capex details, then 1500 crores of capex has been approved by the board, which is expected to be commissioned in the phased manner in 2023 and 2024 financial year. Out of this, 300 crores has been dedicated to Deepak Nitrite on products that will target pharma and agrochemical spaces, as well as the company is adding new platforms to their existing group of platforms, which are fluorination and photochlorination. Also, until now, 700 rupees of capex has been dedicated to Deepak Phenolics for solvents such as MIBK, MIBC, etc., which are downstream derivatives of acetone. Moreover, Deepak Nitrite Ltd have received approvals from its shareholders for fundraise through issue of additional equity shares through QIP route up to 2000 crores. While this resolution shall remain in force for a year up January 26, 2023, the company expects to launch it on an appropriate time. Now we will discuss the reasons for entering into the phenol segment. First is import substitution. There were only 2 manufacturers of the phenol earlier in India, and most of the demand was made through imports. If we import the phenol, the main problem is into the transportation itself. The working capital will be stuck for 1 to 2 months. As for the transportation, it takes about 2 months. Instead of that, if we have the ready domestic manufacturer of the phenol, then the working capital will be reduced, and along with that the transportation cost also goes down. India has been one of the fastest growing country in globe, and phenol growth is closely linked with GDP. Since phenol and acetone are used in infrastructure, pharma and healthcare sectors. Manufacturing of the phenol and acetone will give the company to enter into its downstream derivatives, so that the company will consume the phenol and acetone captively for manufacturing these derivatives. This would set up the high entry barrier for new competitors to enter into phenol and acetone derivatives, since it won't be economically viable to enter into phenol and acetone derivatives without having the phenol and acetone capacity. So if we discuss about MIBK, the import volumes have been increased from 16,698 metric ton per annum in 2010 to about 37,198 metric ton per annum in 2022. So in 2022, India imports about 37,198 metric ton of MIBK, and Deepak Nitrite is setting up the plant of 40,000 metric ton per annum capacity for MIBK. If we check the opportunity for the Deepak Nitrite to substitute the imports in value terms, then MIBK imports stood at about 628 crores in 2022. If we discuss bisphenol, then again in 2022 the bisphenol value stood at 1805 crores. There is no other credible domestic player to enter into this product. Acetone manufactured by Deepak Nitrite is of the high quality, which is being used in the pharmaceutical industry right now. If we look at the revenues and EBIT margin of phenolic business segment, their revenues has grown from 913 crores in 2019 to 4,303 crores in 2022 financial year. Also, their EBIT margins have improved from 11% in 2019 to 20% in 2022. Currently, Deepak Nitrite has a customer base of over 1,000 and it exports to over 30 countries. It has the best customer base domestic as well as global. It acts as a supplier for many of the leading companies worldwide. Now we will see the management execution track record. In 2011 Q4 con call, the management mentioned that the Dahej Greenfield project for forward integration of Dasda and some brownfield expansion in Nandesari plant, and these two projects will help the company to exceed 1000 crores of revenues in next 2 years. At that time their revenues were around 660 crores in 2011, and if we check in 2013 annual reports, we get to know that their revenues stood at around 1095 crores. So the management guidance was perfectly achieved. Now second part of the walking the talk is that in 2018 Q1 con call, the management gave the guidance that the phenol plant will achieve the capacity utilization of 70 to 75% in the first year of operation itself. But if we check, then they have achieved the 80% capacity utilization within first 5 months of operation, and after that they have achieved over 100% capacity utilization in phenol segment. Now let's discuss about the third instance of the walking the talk. In 2018, company's promoter and chairman and managing director Deepak Mehta stated that they have set a target of $1 billion turnover in next 3 to 4 years. During that time, average USD INR was at 68. So their target to achieve around 6,800 crores of revenues in 3 to 4 years have. So the company already achieved the target of 6,800 crores of revenues in next 3 to 4 years. So this target was around 6,800 crores, which company has achieved in 2022 financial year. So we can see that Deepak Nitrite have very good quality of a management and excellent execution track record. The company has incorporated wholly owned subsidiary by name Deepak Cleantech Ltd with effect from 9th October 2020. This subsidiary will carry out business of manufacturing chemical intermediate products that have similar process competencies to ones that the company already have and have also further developed some new products. So now future capexes both in Deepak Nitrite as well as Deepak Phenolics will be done through the Deepak Cleantech. Now let's discuss key strengths of Deepak Nitrite. One of its strengths is that it is a diversified chemical company. If we compare the EBIT margins of various business segments in Deepak Nitrite, we get to know that performance products EBIT margins fell from 54% in 2020 to 7% in 2021. But this did not affect the overall business that much because fine and specialty segment has picked up the battle and it posted EBIT margin of 43% in 2021 financial year. So the overall business didn't get affected due to diversified nature of company. Another key strength is management execution. Management execution track record has been superb, as we saw in the Walking the Talk segment. And the management is always focused on long-term growth. They have done such a great execution over the years. They have also reduced the debt considerably over the years. If we check the net debt to equity ratio, it was 0.99 in 2018 financial year and then it was 1.09 in 2019 financial year, while currently in 2022 financial year it became debt free. Now we will discuss some of the growth triggers. Deepak Nitrite is the beneficiary of the import substitution. Earlier phenol was majorly imported in India. When the demand for the phenol in India was around 2.8 lakh tons per annum, Deepak Nitrite came up with the plan of putting a phenol plant with capacity of 2 lakh metric ton per annum, and company was successful in replacing most of the imported phenol. Moreover, now the company is also going to come up with the derivatives of phenol and acetone, which are also import substitutes. So downstream derivatives of phenol and acetone will further lead to growth of the company. One more reason is the potential opportunities due to China Plus One. Due to pollution issues in China, most of the chemical companies were shut down, and also due to COVID issues, people are reluctant to buy from the Chinese manufacturers. They are looking for the alternative suppliers other than China. MNCs are shifting their manufacturing plants to Asian countries to diversify their supply chains. Indian chemical companies including Deepak Nitrite still have a good opportunity due to this trend. Another growth trigger can be government schemes such as PLI and anti-dumping duties. The government launching a PLI scheme or anti-dumping duty on products will help to boost the domestic production and will help the Indian chemical companies, and Deepak Nitrite is well positioned to take the advantage of that. The company is expanding its portfolio of products. Now the company is coming with the downstream derivatives of phenol and acetone, as well as it is entering into new chemistries such as fluorination and photochlorination, which will drive the growth in the future. The company also regularly undertakes debottlenecking and cost optimization programs to strengthen its competitive position. Now let's discuss some of the risk in the business. First risk is that volatility in margin. We saw that bulk chemical business is commoditized business, but it is very cost efficient. So their margins have expanded in last 1 to 2 years. But again, this could be due to some of the shutdowns in China as well. Also in some of the business segment like we discussed about performance products, we saw the fluctuations in margins. Another risk in investing chemical companies is fire. If we check a few incidents of fire in the Deepak Nitrite case, we got to know that in 2016 fire broke out at one of the distillation column of the company's manufacturing facility at Roha, and more recently, a fire broke out around a warehouse section of company's manufacturing site located at Nandesari, Gujarat. So in any chemical business, the risk of fire is very big risk. One more risk can be upcoming global capacities for phenol. If we check recently, INEOS Phenol has announced that it has agreed to acquire entire asset base of Mitsui Phenol Singapore Ltd from Mitsui Chemicals, which is a leading Japanese chemical manufacturer, for a total consideration amount of $330 million. INEOS is the largest producer of the phenol and acetone worldwide with the capacity of about 19 lakh metric ton per annum for phenol and about 12 lakh metric ton per annum capacity for acetone production. Mitsui Phenol Singapore have the capacity of 3.1 lakh metric ton per annum for phenol and 1.85 lakh metric ton per annum capacity for acetone. With this acquisition, INEOS will have the capacity of 22.1 lakh metric ton per annum of phenol and about 13.85 metric ton capacity for acetone. Even though the import substitution is present here, but a scenario if a lot of capacity arrive for the phenol, then naturally India and China would be the target for the exports, because India and China are the two largest growing markets. So here we have to constantly see that the margins do not go down a lot, or whether they don't receive any competition from imports, or whether any petrochemical company enters into phenol production. तो यदि आपको स्मॉल और माइक्रो कैप के स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट करना है जिसमें फ्यूचर में एक अच्छा ग्रोथ आ सकता है, प्रोवाइडेड दैट कि आज के जो वैल्यूएशन है दे आर वेरी डिसेंट वैल्यूएशंस, तो ऐसे जो स्टॉक्स है जिनके बारे में ज्यादा आज मार्केट में डिस्कस नहीं है वो स्टॉक्स which are kind of a hidden gems. So we are actually studying all these different types of smaller companies which can have a very good growth in future. तो इसके लिए मैंने एक सेपरेट ग्रुप क्रिएट किया है विच इज माई माइक्रो कैप क्लब. तो इसके लिए हम अलग अलग डिस्कशन करते हैं एंड यू विल बी ऑल्सो एडेड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप. तो यदि अब तक आपने माइक्रो कैप क्लब को ज्वाइन नहीं किया होगा तो इसकी जो लिंक है आपको नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगी, जरूर आप इसे ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. इट विल बी डेफिनेटली हेल्पफुल फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर अबाउट डिफरेंट स्टॉक्स विच यू आर होल्डिंग इन योर पोर्टफोलियो, या कौन कौन से स्टॉक्स मैं मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में होल्ड कर रहा हूं एंड हाउ वी डू द चेंजेस इन द अलोकेशन डिपेंडिंग ऑन आगे उनका जो ग्रोथ जर्नी है वो कैसे होने वाला है. तो जरूर आप माइक्रो कैप क्लब को सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हो, इसकी जो लिंक है आपको नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगी. और यदि आपको डिटेल अंडरस्टैंडिंग पसंद आया होगा दीपक नाइट्राइट का तो जरूर ये वीडियो को लाइक कर दीजिए, मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल आइकन पे क्लिक कीजिए ताकि इससे जो वीडियोस है आपको आगे जाके भी मिलते रहे. और जरूर ये जो डिटेल वीडियो है दीपक नाइट्राइट का आप आपके सारे फ्रेंड्स के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उनको भी काफी अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड नॉलेज मिल जाएगा.